Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you are good. I'm trying to be well. I am trying to be good as well. So I hope you are good. I hope you're doing fine. I'm just praying for you to get knowledge and wisdom and understanding and blessings from Almighty, from Allah Almighty. I'm going to be reading, so come and join me and read with me the Holy Quran. Is it Quran? Quran? Quran. The Holy, the Holy, the Holy Quran. Translation and commentary by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. IPCI Islamic Vision. Mushaf al-Madina An-Nabawiya. The Holy Quran. Quran, right? The Holy Quran. English translation of the meanings and commentary. Revised and edited by the President of Islamic Researches, IFTA, Call and Guidance, King Fahd, Holy Quran Printing Complex. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Fahd ibn Abdul Aziz Al Saud, King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, has the honor to order the printing of the Holy Quran and the translation of its messages, its meanings, and commentary. Mushaf al-Madina and Nabawiya, the Holy Quran, translation of the meanings and commentary. Oh, good. I think you have to go. Preface. Praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, who has said in his holy noble book, there has come to you from Allah light and a perspicuous book, and may peace and blessings be upon the seal of the prophets Muhammad, who has said that the best among you is he who learned the Quran and then taught it. May the peace and blessings of Allah be. Am I audible even? I want to be very audible. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, his family, and all his companions. The glorious Quran is the book of Allah, the wise and worthy of all praise, who has promised to safeguard it from any violations in its purity. It becomes incumbent upon each and every person who seeks the dignity of this world and the bliss of the hereafter to regulate his life according to it, to implement its commandments, and to pay homage to the magnificence of the one who revealed it. This can be an easy task for those favored with guidance from Allah, especially those blessed by an understanding of Arabic, the language of the divine communication. But for those not acquainted with Arabic, their ignorance is a barrier between them and this source of guidance and illumination. A translation of the message of Allah is thus a task not to be taken lightly or performed superficially. Before the reader begins to study the Quran, he must realize that unlike all other writings, this is a unique book with a supreme author, an eternal message, and a universal relevance. Its contents are not confined to a particular theme or style, but contain the foundations for an entire system of life, covering a whole spectrum of issues with range from specific articles of faith and commandments to general moral teachings, rights and obligations, crime and punishment, personal and public law, and a host of other private and social concerns. These issues are discussed in a variety of ways, such as direct stipulations, reminders of Allah's favors on His creation, abominations and rebukes, stories of past communities are narrated, followed by the lessons to be learned from their actions and subsequent fates. The Quran enjoys a number of characteristics unique to it alone, some of which are as follows. 1. Surat Al-Ma'idah 15:2, narrated by the six ones except Muslim. 1. It is the actual word of Allah, not created but revealed for the benefit of all mankind. Blessed is he who sent down the criterion to his servant, that it may be an abomination to all creatures. 2. It is complete and comprehensive. The Almighty says, nothing have we omitted from the book. In another place we read, and we have sent down to thee the book explaining all things. 3. It is a theoretical and a practical book, not only moralizing but also defining specifically the permissible and the forbidden. The importance of understanding the message of the Quran is undeniable, but simply reciting it with the intention of seeking Allah's pleasure and reward is also an act of worship and meritorious in itself. Allah Almighty says, so take what the Prophet gives you and refrain from what he prohibits you. For Allah has perfected his religion for all mankind with the revelation of this book. He says, this day have I perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and have chosen for you Islam as your religion. 5. It is Allah's eternal miracle revealed to the Prophet Muhammad for all succeeding generations in response to those who doubt the authorship of the Quran. Allah Almighty has challenged the most articulate Arabs to produce a whole book, 10 chapters or even one solitary chapter, which can be remotely comparable to the Quran. But to this day, no one has succeeded in meeting the challenge of the Almighty. The critics of the Quran, Quran have been struck dumb by its ineffable eloquence and surpassing beauty. Say, if the word of mankind and jinns were to gather together to produce the like of this Quran, they could not produce the like thereof, even if they backed up each other with help and support. The Almighty also says, are we still on? Yeah, we are on. The Almighty also says, oh, they may say, he forged it. Say, bring ye then 10 chapters, forged like unto it, and call to your aid whomsoever ye can other than Allah, if ye speak the truth. And again, or do they say, he forged it? Say, bring then a chapter like unto it, and call to your aid anyone ye can besides Allah. If it be ye speak the truth. 6. It has been revealed to re-establish the sincere worship of Allah alone without association of any partners with Him. This is a book with verses basic or fundamental of established meaning, further explained in detail. From one who is wise and well aware, it teaches that you should worship none but Allah. And they have been commanded no more than this, to worship Allah, offering Him sincere devotion, being true in faith, to establish regular prayer, and to give zakat, and that is the religion right and straight. 7. It contains a complete code which provides for all areas of life, whether spiritual, intellectual, political, social, or economic. It is a code which has no boundaries of time, place, or nation. Verily, this Quran doeth guide to that which is most right. 8. Allah Almighty has taken upon Himself the duty of preserving the Quran forever in its entirety. As He says, we have without doubt sent down the message, and we will assuredly guard it from corruption. So well has it been preserved, both in memory and in writing, that the Arabic text we have today is identical to the text as it was revealed to the Prophet. Not even a single letter has yielded to corruption during the passage of the centuries, and so it will remain forever by the consent of Allah. Given the depth as well as the sublimity of the Quranic text, a faithful translation of it into another language is virtually impossible. The various translations that exist today, however accurate they may be, cannot be designated as the Quran, since they can never hope to imitate the diction or the style of the Book of Allah. But as translation is one of the few ways to export the message of the Quran, to allow those lacking in knowledge of Arabic to share this priceless gift, it becomes a duty for those in a position to fulfill this task. A number of individuals have in the past ventured to translate the Quran, but their works have generally been private attempts, greatly influenced by their own prejudices. In order to produce a reliable translation free from personal bias, a royal decree number 19888 dated 16/8/1400 AH was issued by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Fahd ibn Abdul Aziz, at that time the deputy prime minister, authorizing the general presidency of the departments of Islamic researches, IFTA, call and guidance to undertake the responsibility of revising and correcting a particular translation which would be selected for this purpose and made publicly available later. To accomplish the enormous task, a number of communities were formed, comprising scholars who were qualified both in Islamic Sharia and the English language. Oh God. Some of these scholars were associated with the general presidency of the departments of Islamic researches, IFTA, call and guidance. The first committee was given the task of examining the existing translations and choosing the most suitable one from among them. The committee discovered that there were no translation free from defects, and so there were two options open for consideration. The first was to select the best translation available and then adapt it as a base for further work, as well as a source of reference, with the objective of revising its contents and correcting any faults in view of the objections raised against it. The second was to prepare a fresh and independent translation, starting from scratch, It became obvious from studying these translations that the second option demanded much time and effort, neither of which were available at the time. The first option was therefore considered to be more practical, since it met the existing urgent requirements and helped to achieve the desired goal in a comparatively short period of time. The translation by the late Ustada Abdullah Yusuf Ali was consequently chosen for its distinguishing characteristics, such as a highly elegant style, a choice of words close to the meaning of the original text, accompanied by scholarly notes and commentaries. The committee began revising and correcting this translation with the aid of other translations available by comparing and then adapting best expressions, as well as by introducing fresh expressions where necessary. The committee was fully aware of all the criticisms that had been directed against this translation and which had been carefully brought to the notice of the presidency by a number of academic bodies and other involved parties. In the second stage, the entire work of this committee was referred to a number of individuals and organizations who then argumented any deficiencies in the work of the committee. A third committee was set up to collect all their suggestions. It then compared all such views regarding specific issues, selected the appropriate ones, and arrived at a text as authentic and defect-free as was humanly possible. Finally, a fourth committee was formed to look into the findings of the second and the third committees and to implement the recommendations made by them. Furthermore, this committee had to finalize the text by adapting the most accurate expression where needed, besides checking the notes vigilantly so as to clear any misconceptions regarding the articles of faith, varying juristic opinions and thoughts not in conformity with a sound Islamic point of view. In the course of its work, the committee came across some Arabic words which could not be translated correctly, such as zakat and tagut. T-A-G-U-T, tagut. It was therefore decided to give a transliteration of these words in English with a brief explanatory note for each one at its first occurrence in the text. The reader will find a list of such words at the end of this preface, as well as a list containing an English transliteration of Arabic letters, a list of the a list of the abbreviations used in this work is also provided. Finally, the reader will find at the end of the text a comprehensive list containing references to proper names of people, places, and important topics dealt with either in the text or in the accompanying notes, according to the Royal Decree number 12/41/2 dated 27/10/1405 This translation is printed at King Fahd Holy Quran Printing Complex in Al-Madinah, Al-Munawwara, and also with coordination of the General Presidency of the Departments of Islamic Researches, IFTA call and guidance to implement the directions of the custodian of the two holy mosques, may Allah preserve him, concerning the propagation of the Book of Allah, its distribution and translation into every language spoken by Muslims the worldwide, and due to the cooperation between the General Secretariat of King Fahd Holy Quran Printing Complex and the Presidency of Islamic Researches, IFTA call and guidance regarding a faithful, specific, and scholarly translation of the meanings of the Holy Quran. We are pleased to present to all Muslims and those seeking spiritual light among English-speaking people this translation, which comes as one of the series of the translations of the meanings of the Holy Quran into various languages printed by the complex. in Al-Madina Al-Munawwara. May Allah reward bound Bounteously bounteously those who were behind this blessed work. The Presidency of Islamic Research's IFTA Guidance, Arabic Words Explained, a comprehensive list of names, places, and topics appears as an index at the end of the book. Here some of repeated Arabic words occurring in the translation are given with a brief explanation. Allah, the proper name of God in Arabic. Haji, the pilgrimage, the pilgrimage to Mecca, which takes place in the last month of the Islamic calendar. Iblis, Satan, Iblis, Satan, Islam, literally to submit, the religion of all the prophets of Allah, confirmed finally by the mission of the Prophet Muhammad. Jinn, invisible beings constituting a whole race like mankind. Jinn. Muhajir, literally the immigrant, one who leaves the hometown to join a Muslim community. Muslim, one who professes the faith of Islam or born to a Muslim family. Qibla, the Kaaba, the direction for the daily prayers of a Muslim. Qibla, Qibla. Quran, literally the recital, the final revelation given to the Prophet Muhammad in Arabic. Ramadan, the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, during which the Muslims fast. Surah, a chapter of the Quran. Tagut, literally a tyrant. Tagut, literally a tyrant, oppressor, false god, temper to error. Tagut is applied to any object which is worshipped besides Allah. Yura, a mirror form of pilgrimage to Mecca. Yuma, literally a nation, but is usually applied to the Muslim Brotherhood. Yathrib, the name by which Medina was known before the Prophet's migration to that city. Zakat, literally to grow, to purify. The third pillar of Islam is a definite portion of wealth which is given to the needy at the turn of the year. Transliteration of Arabic words and names. The following table shows the system which I have followed in transliterating the letters of Arabic alphabet. Consonantal sound, long vowel. One, for Hamza, I have used no distinctive sign, an apostrophe for it and an inverted apostrophe for the ein, or vice versa is confusing to the English readers as a moved consonant. It is sufficiently shown in English by the long or short vowel, which moves it, igi, Ralph, where it is a hiatus, perceived by Fatha. I've shown it by a second A, thus Ikra, the cave of Hira. In other cases, it has not been possible to show it without using a distinctive sign. The name of the holy book is usually written Quran, but I prefer to write it Quran. However, a few words like jazz have an apostrophe indicating Hamza too. The final H preceded by the short A is scarcely pronounced, and I have left it out. Hence, Surah, Fatihah, Hijra, etc., where the Arabic spelling would require Surah, Fatihah, Hijra, etc., and internationalized words and names. 3. In internationalized words and names have used the spelling ordinarily current in English, e.g., Malvi, Yurudu, Islam, Israel, Abraham, Jacob. Here the boundary is thin and rather ill-defined, and possibly my practice and that of my proofreaders have not been absolutely uniform, but in place of Mecca and Medina, the more accurate form of Makkah and Medina is adapted. For some names, e.g., Ishmael, Hagar, etc., have acquired a contemptuous association in their European forms, while other persons they represent are sacred personages held in great honor in Islam. I have therefore avoided the European forms and used the Arabic forms, Ismail, Hajar, etc. Abbreviations used. God. Man, these guys explain everything. Contents pages, preface, Arabic words explained, transliteration of Arabic words, abbreviations used, Surah 1, Al-Fatihah, introduction, text and notes, Surah 2, Al-Baqarah, introduction and summary, the message and the main, the text and the notes, man's nature and destiny, text and notes, children of Israel, their privileges and backslidings, text and notes, people of the book, their jealousy and narrow-mindedness, text and notes, Abraham and Ismail built the Kaaba and founded Islam, text and notes, creation of a new people with Qibla towards Makkah, text and notes, laws for these new people about food, blood money, bequests, fasting, jihad, pilgrimage, zakat, drink and gambling, orphans, marriage, divorce and widowhood, fighting in defense of truth and right, story of David and Goliath, text and notes, Surah 2, Al-Baqarah, names of Allah, the verse of the throne, no compulsion in religion, upright conduct, Abraham, zakat, usury contracts, witnesses, texts and notes, all life as in presence of Allah, no burden greater than we can bear, prayer to Allah, text and notes, appendix 1 on the abbreviated letters, Surah 3, Imran, introduction and summary, confirmation of previous revelations, acceptance of faith, text and notes, partial truths and the completed book of Allah, friendship with one's own people, text and notes, prophets form one brotherhood, birth of Mary, Yahya and Jesus, text and notes, seek common principles, avoid dissembling and disputing, true religion. Text and notes, Allah's help will come to those who strive. As at Badr, we must learn from our misfortunes, as at you who, text and notes, dangers of indiscipline, disputes, loss of courage, or pursuit of selfish ends, glorious other matters without fear, text and notes. Surat Al-Imra, vain at the town of unbelief, Allah's promise is sure, trust in him, text and notes. Surat 4, An-Nisa, introduction and summary, unity and mankind, sacredness of sex and friendship, sacredness of sex and family relationships, women and orphans, distribution of property after death, text and notes, crimes against sex to be rooted out, marriage and women's right, live in faith, charity and kindness. Cleanliness, purity, truth, obedience, and other virtues lead to a glorious company. Text and notes, rights and duties of brotherhood, fear nothing, maintain the right, and guard against hypocrites and deserters. Text and notes, sacredness of life, migrate from places hostile to Islam, precautions in prayer in time of danger, treachery and secrecy to be avoided, firmness and faith to be encouraged. Text and notes, justice to women and orphans and to all, be true and considerate. Text and notes, where the people of the book went wrong, revelation contained in the Surah 4 and Nisa contained Quran. Text and notes, Surah 5, Al-Maida, introduction and summary, obligations and duties, human and divine, are sacred and interconnected, laws of food and social intercourse. Text and notes, cleanliness and purity, justice and right conduct, trust in Allah. Text and notes, how Allah's grace was withdrawn from falsity to trust and rebellion against truth. Text and notes, jealousy of Cain against Abel led to murder, crimes against individuals and communities. Text and notes, justice above men's selfish desires. Be not afraid to proclaim the truth of Allah. Keep away from evil, but recognize the sincere and the humble, even if not of your flock. Text and notes, avoid excess, rash vows, drinking, gambling, and superstition. Text and notes, miracles of Jesus, but he claimed no divinity. Text and notes, appendix on the Taurat, appendix on the Ijr. Context, Surah 6, Al-Anam, introduction and summary, Allah reigns in heaven and on earth. There is a hereafter. Text and notes, life of this world is empty. What is serious is the hereabout. Allah holds the keys of the unseen. Text and notes, Allah's loving care encompasses us. It is his protection we should seek and not that of anyone else. Text and notes, revelation in all ages, Quran a blessing and confirmation, signs of Allah in the daily pregnance of nature. Text and notes, rebels against Allah are God. Rebels against Allah are deceived and used. Good. Rebels against Allah are deceived and deceive each other. Let us trust in Allah. Text and notes, degrees in good and Degrees in good and evil deeds, avoid superstition and excess. Text and notes. Allah's commands are not irrational taboos, but based on moral law. Text and notes. Surah 7, Al-Araf, introduction and summary. Revelation should be is difficulties of heart and mind. Arrogance and excess are the root of evil. Arrogance and excess are the root of evil. Text and note. Allah has forbidden evil. All good is for man's enjoyment. Righteous too live in peace and fulfillment of all hope and fulfillment of all hope. I'm tired. I'm tired. Look at my face. Am I even scaring? I don't want to scare people with my face. I'm tired. Surah 7, Al-Araf, Noah, Hudu, Salih, Lot and Shu'aib, how their wholesome warning was rejected to the detriment of the rejectors. Text and notes. Moses had to fight alien arrogance as well as rebellion among his own people, like the final messenger whom he prefigured. Text and notes. The prophet's revelation superseded the older law. Text and notes. The inborn good in man is strengthened by constant reminders from Allah. If sin has a respite, it's only for a time. Judgment must come. So draw near to Allah in humility and reverence. Text and notes. Surah 8 Al-Anfal, introduction and summary. The fight is not for spoils or gain, but for the cause. Text and notes. Obey Allah's call and hold all else as naught. The godless will not thrive. Text and notes. The battle of Buddha differentiated truth from unbelief. Oh God. I'm yawning because of sleep. I want to sleep. Lessons. Text and notes. The true man is not cowed down by odds against him. He fights not for spoils, but for truth and faith. Text and note. Surah 9, At-Tawbah or Barat, introduction and summary. If the enemy treacherously breaks faith, denounce his treaty, but give time before this declaration of war. Mosques are for men of faith. Text and notes. Enemies of faith cannot put our Allah's light. Wealth is for good use, not for hoarding, like boarding, hoarding. Strive and struggle for Allah in a straight fight. Text and notes. Believers. Oh God, Allah. Almighty Allah, man, touch my life, man. Almighty Allah. Almighty Allah, touch my life. Man, Almighty Allah, touch my life, man. Allah Almighty. Believers do their duty and make no excuses. Alms are for poor and needy, and not for hypocrites. Bliss of the righteous is in the good pleasure of Allah. Text and notes. Had a striving needed against evil, welcome all chance of service and sacrifice. The vanguard of faith expect their reward in Allah's good pleasure. Allah's grace is free and abounding. Even the Earring, E-W-R-I-N-G. Earring, obtain it by repentance. Textual notes. Truth in word and deed is our fullest satisfaction and reward. Our striving should include study and teach for our brethren. Textual notes. Surah 10, Yunus, introductory and summary. Allah guides the human spirit in wondrous ways if man will have faith and put his trust in Allah. Surah 10, Yunus. Mankind is one. Textual notes. All things good, beautiful, and useful are from Allah instead of ephemeral good. Seek the eternal home of peace from Allah through His book. Textual notes. The truth of Allah must not be shout out of all souls. Revelation and prophets are sent to teach us. We must accept them and reject falsehood. Text and notes. Allah works throughout His world in mercy and justice. Repent before it is too late. Text and notes. Be patient and strive with constancy. Allah's plan is righteous and for the good of His creatures. Text and notes. Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, go ahead. Allah, man, touch my life, Allah. Man, Allah, touch my life. Allah. Go ahead, man. Njagala kwebaka nze. Njagala kwebaka.